Hello students, welcome to ICSC Board Class 10 Biology episode 3.1.5. In the last episode we have seen about the blood channels, blood vessels, arteries, veins and capillaries. We have seen the structure of artery, vein and capillaries, as well as we have seen the differences and their functions. We have also talked about the principal arteries and veins, and we have seen about the portal system, and in our syllabus we have talked about the hepatic portal system and its function. In this episode we are going to talk about blood, that is the liquid connective tissue. So let us move on to the topic. Blood is fluid connective tissue. It is red in color and it's because of the presence of hemoglobin. Heme, that is iron part, and globin is the protein part. Human body contains about 5 to 6 liters of blood, and it is having two components, that is blood plasma, which is about 55%, and the blood cells or corpuscles, which is about 45%. Let us see blood plasma. It is a fluid part. Out of 5 liters of blood, 3.5 liter is plasma, which consists of 90% of water, 7.3% of proteins. Now this is important question. Name the proteins present in the blood. Then you can go for albumin, globulin protein, which is providing an immunity, helping in the defense mechanism. Fibrinogen and prothrombin are the blood coagulating or blood clotting proteins. 3% is glucose, nitrogenous waste, minerals, enzymes, hormones, salts, antibodies and excretory products of the food. Plasma transport gases and other minerals, maintains blood pH, body immunity, body heat regulations, and regulates the osmotic pressure of the blood. That means it is helping in homeostasis. Homeostasis means maintenance of body temperature. Blood is maintaining the body temperature by circulating throughout the whole body and regulates the osmotic pressure as well. Let us move on to the blood corpuscles. In the blood corpuscles we are going to see the first one, that is erythrocytes, or you can see RBC. RBC, that is red blood cells. Erythrocytes, erythro means red, cytes means cells. Erythrocytes are without nucleus. They are not having mitochondria, endoplasmic radicals, or you can say cell organelles are absent. It is biconcave, 7.4 micrometer in diameter, 2 micrometer in thickness. Volume is about 90 micrometer cube, and each RBC contains about 30 microgram of hemoglobin. Average normal RBC in male, it is 5 to 5.5 million per cubic millimeter. In females it is about 4.5 to 5 millions per cubic millimeter. In infants about 6 to 7 millions per cubic millimeter is found in the infant. That much amount of RBCs are seen. In fetus it is about 7.8 millions of RBC per cubic millimeter. The formation of RBC is known as erythropoiesis. In child, erythropoiesis takes place in liver, spleen, RBC, long bones, that is red bone marrow, and to some extent skull. While in adult it is long bones, that is red bone marrow. So these are the organs which help in the formation of RBC, or you can say helps in erythropoiesis. That's why they are known as erythropoietic organs. Lifespan of RBC is 120 days, while spleen is considered to be the graveyard of RBC because dead RBCs are stored there. The dead RBCs which are stored in spleen are brought to the liver, and in the liver it is broken down into heme and globin. Heme and globin are the products that are formed after the breaking of hemoglobin in the liver. The removal of RBC from the circulation is known as eryptosis. So eryptosis takes place in the liver. Hemoglobin is broken down to heme and globin, while the dead RBCs are stored in the spleen, that is if they are in excess. In the liver, what happens? Heme that is formed is going and entering into the bone marrow for the formation of new RBC, while the globin is broken down and used as a source of energy, as well as forms bile pigments and stored in the bile. Now let us see the abnormal rise and abnormal fall. Abnormal rise in the total count of RBC is known as polycythemia. That means from the normal level it keeps on rising, and it takes place in the people residing at high altitudes. They are going to show the polycythemic conditions. Polycythemia means abnormal rise in total count of RBC. Why it takes place? Because as you know that if you go higher and higher, the amount of oxygen decreases, and in order to compensate the amount of oxygen required by the body, number of RBCs are going to increase. That is considered as polycythemia. while abnormal low levels are known as, or abnormal fall, abnormal levels, then the normal ones, then they are known as erythropenia, or you can say anemia. So these are the two clinical conditions, abnormal rise and abnormal fall. Smallest RBCs are seen in tragules, they are musk deer, and the largest RBCs are found in amphiuma. The next point is really important because it says that RBC is without nucleus, RBC does not have mitochondria or cell organelles. Now, a cell possesses nucleus, cell possesses mitochondria, cell possesses cell organelles. That means the space for the other components, like as for example for RBC, the other component is hemoglobin. So the hemoglobin will be less. If hemoglobin is less, then the oxygen carrying capacity will be less to the cell. So if nucleus is not there, mitochondria is not there, or cell organelles are not there, then the amount of hemoglobin will increase, which will have more tendency to bind with oxygen, and it will have more tendency to bring oxygen or to carry oxygen to the cell. So that is what the importance of not having nucleus or mitochondria in or cell organelles in the RBC. As well as cell organelles are not present, then RBC becomes more flexible for carrying oxygen through the narrow capillaries to the particular cell. So that's why RBCs are without nucleus or mitochondria or cell organelles. The ratio of RBC and WBC is to 600:1. Let us see the functions. Functions of RBC is to carry respiratory gases or transport respiratory gases, carry oxygen and removes carbon dioxide. So it is carrying oxygen. So oxygen plus hemoglobin forms oxyhemoglobin, and carbon dioxide plus hemoglobin combines to form carboaminohemoglobin or carbahemoglobin. Hemoglobin is an excellent acid base buffer which maintains pH of the blood. So it is excellent acid base buffer which maintains pH of the blood. So if the pH becomes alkali, then hemoglobin acts as an acid. If the blood becomes, or the pH of the blood becomes acidic, then it acts as a base. So these are the two important functions of RBC. Let us move on to the another corpuscle cells, that is leukocytes, or you can say white blood cells. What is the function of white blood cells? It helps in the defense mechanism. So it kills microorganisms entering into the body by the various processes. The numbers are less than compared to RBC. They are colorless. They are without hemoglobin, so they are colorless. Lifespan is about 2 weeks, that is 14 to 15 days. They possess nucleus and they are amoeboid in structure. They are without hemoglobin, so WBC appears colorless. Formation of WBC is called leukopoiesis, and it takes place in long bones, lymph glands, lymph nodes, spleen, etc. If there is abnormal rise in the WBC, then it is considered as leukocytosis, and if there is a abnormal rise with respect to RBC, then it is called leukemia or blood cancer. Their number is about 5,000 to 7,000 per cmm. Abnormal decrease in the WBC is known as leukopenia. The number of WBC increases during the infection like pneumonia, inflammation and blood cancer. WBC are classified into two groups, that is depending upon the presence of granules in the cytoplasm. If granules are present in the cytoplasm, they are known as granulocyte, and if they are absent, then it is known as agranulocyte. So let us talk about granulocytes. So first granulocyte is acidophils, or you can say eosinophils. See the structure of WBC with the nucleus. In acidophils, it is bilobed. So we can say one lobe and another lobe. So it is bilobe structure, and the granules are stained red, or you can say orange, with the help of acidic dyes, that is eosin. And because of this reason, acidophils are also known as eosinophils. Why acidophils are known as eosinophils? Because it is stained with the acid dye eosin. What is the importance of acidophils? So the function of acidophils is to help in engulfing the antigen antibody complex. So when antigen antibody complex are formed, it engulfs and it destroys the antigen along with the antibody. So there is a bit of a collateral damage here, that is destroying our own antibody which has combined with the antigen. It is also seen in high number during parasitic infection. So if a person is suffering from any sort of a parasite, like tapeworm is there in the small intestine, or some sort of a worms are there in the body, then the number of acidophil is going to increase. Let us see the second one, that is basophils. So basophils, so basophils are trilobe nucleus and they are dyed with the basic dyes like methylene blue, and their function is to secrete histamine, which is helping to fight against allergy, heparin, which prevents the blood from clotting in the blood vessels, and serotonin, which acts as a vasoconstrictor. That means when the blood starts flowing during the time of injury, when the blood starts flowing in high amounts, the blood vessels are constricted, and it is done with the help of serotonin, which is being secreted by the basophils. So basophil acts as a vasoconstrictor. So these are the functions of basophils. Let us move on to the next one, that is neutrophils. So what are the functions of neutrophils? The functions of neutrophils is to protect the body by bringing diapedesis, or you can say phagocytosis. We'll see the process of diapedesis and phagocytosis later. So neutrophils are polymorphic. Polymorphic means that keeps on changing its shapes. It keeps on continuously changing its shape. It is more in number. It is about 70% than that of the whole of the WBC. So these are the real soldiers of our body, and they are stained with the neutral dyes. They are multi-lobe nucleus and they show the process of phagocytosis. Phagocytosis means what? Engulfing of microorganisms. We'll see that afterwards. Phagocytosis and diabetes we'll see later. So this is about neutrophils. Let us move on to the A granulocytes. In A granulocytes there are two of them, that is lymphocytes and monocytes. Lymphocytes, they are small in size, they have large nucleus and they produce in the bone marrow, and their function is to produce antibodies, as well as this also helps in wound healing and immunological reactions during transplants. So that means when a person is transplanting the organ to the another person, then that person who is receiving the organ might work or might not work. That can be decided and can be shown by the immunological reactions by the lymphocytes. The second one is monocytes. Monocytes are the largest WBC. They are having kidney-shaped nucleus and they show the process of phagocytosis. They feed on dead microbes, that's why they are known as scavengers. They clean up the dead foreign bodies and dead cells, that's why they are known as cleaners and sweepers. They are also known as macrophage and they are the largest WBCs. So that's it. So I hope you understood about the different types of WBCs and their functions. There are some important questions in these notes. They are all related to the objectives. We'll see one more thing, that is platelets, in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much and thanks for your patience. If you have any comments, please let me know in the comment box. Thank you very much, guys.